How did the name Quizboot come to be?
Kind of like so quiz book. Okay, what's it doing? Quiz. Basically, the point is, wake me up in the middle of the night. I can remember the product. So I built a sample of a Naira lamp back then, and when I did, my classmates saw it and they were like, Peter, wow, that hype was real, and I enjoyed it, and I felt special among my colleagues.
Even with AI tools, we just have to be careful. We have to be careful. We have to, we have to be AI smart. We have to be AI conscious and not let it do our work for us.
I just found a new love. So what I'll be doing differently is using my new love.
I hope it's not React.
No, it's Rust. Bro. Bro.
Every product has a story, not just the marketing story, the engineering story. It's not an easy task to take a product from idea as a developer and take it into production. And we have here on this particular episode one of such success stories, Quizboot. And we have the founder in the house, Mr. or should I say, full stack developer, Peter Olayinka. So get right in, join us, follow us as we delve into from ideas to production, a story of Quizboot.
Peter Olayinka is the founder of Quizboot, an educational technology platform. He is a software engineer and the creator of the tool that has reached significant user milestones which serve over 100,000 users. Quizboot is known for offering, among other things, free mock exams to students. Quizboot is an edtech platform designed to make learning, assessment, and training engaging, rewarding, and easy for students, teachers, and businesses.
Welcome, guys, to Inside the Stack. I'm your host, Oluwole Majiagbe, and I have here with me Mr. Peter Olayinka, founder and creator of Quizboot. Welcome, Mr. Peter.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's
a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on the show.
Pleasure.
I want to appreciate you for taking time out to actually join us here and sharing your experience with developers all around the world.
Thank you very much.
All right, so will you please tell us a little bit about Quizboot, what it does, how it works?
So Quizboot is a platform focused on assessment of knowledge, where tutors or educators create assessments and they can share with their audiences and manage the attempts and manage all their stuff. And then, Quizboot is such a platform, whereas, you might be using more than 2 hours creating an assessment, but in less than 3, 4, 5 minutes, you're done, like just a single box and you're done creating. So yeah, it's a platform focused on assessment of knowledge.
What really inspired you to build Quizboot? What was the inspiration behind Quizboot?
I mean, the inspiration is far away from what it is right now, So the inspiration was from when I was doing my IT internship at CK Digital, right? And then on this particular day, I was just going on social media. I'm not so much of a social person, so I was going on Instagram and I felt like, okay, what if I have a system that educators could use, and it has a feel of social in it, but it fulfills the job of being educative. So from there, it transformed into what I started using to learn the programming language, which is Python and Django then. So, and as I learn, I build, I learn, I build, I learn, I build. And from there, it started transitioning to what it is.
During the time that Quizboot started, I think I've heard about Quizboot, and I think I also interacted with it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So during that period, it's rare for a developer to actually go educational. Most of us during that time was actually going the route of fintech. We had a lot of fintechs sprouting up then, like Flutterwave, like Paystack.
Yeah, well, you can't compare them though, but So for me, really, what brought about the challenge, apart from the thought of the social thing and stuff while I was doing my IT, was that in my school back then, I had challenges of getting past questions and stuff, and I was the class rep. So I was the class rep for my course mates for several years until I became the president. So, I mean, I had that, those were serious challenges. And I felt like, how can we actually preserve this thing? Whereas I don't have to go asking people every time, or new intakes in our school come asking us for past questions. And so I felt like, is there a way we can do it in a digital form? That was another inspiration of it. And it was a real problem for me. And then combined with the fact that I wanted to transition to learn real programming language. So, they just met each other, and I just used that to start learning programming and doing something along the side. And that was how
Wow, this is a very inspiring story. It shows tenacity, being tenacious enough from learning to solve a problem to actually building it. I have a lot of side projects that actually thought I was going to change the world with, but they are still there living in my documents folder.
Okay, so I have an answer to that. For me, it was about the hype that came around with it. So, back in school, people saw me like, I was doing so. I built a sample of Naira Land back then. And when I did, my classmates saw it and they were like, Peter, wow, that hype was real. And I enjoyed it and I felt special among my colleagues. So when I introduced Quizboot to them as well, the hype went higher. And then, whenever any one of them tried, this thing is good. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. That I like it, though it wasn't bringing money, and that was a real problem. But the I like it kept me going. Like, I like this, you show somebody, I like it. And it kept me going, and that was actually what kept me going. The fact that people say, I like it, and they actually do use it. It might not be frequent, but I see them use it. They tell me they love it, and I see people, like, I see the impact, basically. Yeah, the impact. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So that's wonderful. So at what point did you realize that this product, Quizboot, was actually evolving into something serious?
The point I realized that was when I speak to tutors and they tell me how much it's helpful to them. And then in our world, if you can solve a problem, then you can actually make money out of it.
Yeah.
So I felt I was solving a problem, but I know I know that I wasn't making the money. Right? So solving the problem is like when I speak with you, because when I see tutors or anybody on the block, I call them, I try to call them, and I speak with you, and you're telling me, wow, this thing is helping me, I like it, and this. That was the point. So for me, the point where I realized that this was becoming something serious was when I started talking to these tutors. Like, I just call them, right? If I see you're doing numbers, maybe like you're doing 10 attempts, you're creating 2 or 3 quizzes, I'll be like, why is this person using this now? You come back again, I'll just call. And once I call, the person will be like, wow, I love it. I've been using it for my coursemate, I've been using it for my students, and yeah, they love it, I love it. And I'm like, I love it, you love it. Okay, that's interesting. I like that. And at that point, I realized that this is actually solving real problems. I just don't know yet. Until you get, I didn't know it was, but it was, and I still did not realize it. But I knew, but I just know that if he's using it, it's working for him. Let me keep it for him.
So even if it was just one user that was using it, I still kept on going.
Yeah, and also it was also selfish in a way, because as an engineer, right, I want to go into interviews. What have you built? Do you get?
Yeah.
What have you built? I have a product that is serving 10 people. I have a product that has, but now I think I can brag better about it.
Yeah.
I have a product that's serving more than 11,000 people daily. It's crazy. So yeah, I have a product that has over 200,000 subscribed, registered users. I can even brag better. I have a product about in a month. I think you must have seen that post sometime. In 30 days, I had like 42 subscribed users, Nigerians paying me for that product. You can imagine if I package it properly and take it international. You get?
Yeah.
If Nigerians can pay. You get the logic.
It's not easy to take money out of a Nigerian's pockets.
Then if Nigerians can pay, 42 Nigerians actually paying me, and they are telling me thank you whenever I call them. Like,
wow.
I'm collecting your money and you're telling me thank you. It's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, that's so. A personal question now.
Yes, please.
How did the name Quizboot come to be?
Ah, Quizboot. I think I was just back at my IT place. I was looking for a name that works, and then I learned a lot from my boss then, which is Mr. Charles. So I mean, because we do sessions. I think on Fridays or so, there are sessions we do. Everybody go and research and come and present to the whole team. Even as I was an intern, they still give me platform for such. So he also tells it that if your users cannot remember, like if you cannot wake them in the night and they cannot remember, like basically the point is, wake me up in the middle of the night, I can remember the product name.
Mm.
So since I knew it was around assessment, and I used Facebook, kind of like so Facebook. Okay, what's it doing? Quiz, like a boot for quizzes. Okay, I think that makes sense. And
Wow, that's inspiring.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think one thing that I picked out
yeah,
from this is it has to be a name
yeah,
that even if you ask anyone along the road or something, it should be something that is easily remembered. It is something that is easily recognizable.
yeah.
You don't need a complex name like
Does it have does it have to be too long? It doesn't have to
system for quiz assessments and
Like-
whatever.
just wait me. Lyrical product. What's the name of that product? Quiz. Just if you shall know the term, put it on Google, you'll find it. So yeah.
All right, so let's get right into the stack.
Okay.
What was the first version of the product like?
Bro, man, I think I'll send you the first version. There's an archive. That was the name of that thing to see archived websites, archive.com or something. You can search it, you will see it. The first version was but you know the funny thing, even as at that time, Indians were crazily using it then. It's just now that I don't find Indians using it like that before. So I wonder, what were they seeing then? Maybe there's just something wrong in the DNS or in the, I don't know. But then Indians were really using it. I'm telling you. Like, I'm telling you. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what technologies or
Does it
stack
use?
did you start with, and why did you choose the stack?
Okay. Ease of usage.
Okay.
Yeah. Ease of usage, because I mean, if I don't have that problem now, why am I crazy about it? I know one of your podcasts, you said always think about scaling. Bro, none of us really thinks about scaling when we build. It's until you get there. I mean, it's now that I have the experience that I know that if you are building, build with
You
skill.
have to build with skill.
But then I was just building to learn, So if you are talking to me then like all these things, I don't even know what it means, until I got there, I saw it. Like now I know what it means. But so yeah, the stack Django for the ease of use, and I think I was using jQuery then because that was what we're using back then on live when this came around. I remember I was using this to learn. It wasn't actually a real product then. I was using it to learn, sharing with friends, just using it to learn. So yeah, that was the first version.
that actually even ties down to my last episode where I spoke about learning by doing.
Yeah.
It's really nice. All right, so what was the most difficult technical challenge you've faced when building this product?
When building now. Okay, so when building back there, we're just watching tutorials doing. So the most difficult challenge, technical challenge, was most likely would be maybe around the logic. Yeah, I think I remember one time when I was trying to find the logic to do leaderboard and stuff, Yeah, it's just around the logic. Because most of these things, I have things I could reference to do them.
We're actually building your own logic without
logic
following what was in the tutorial.
Because there was already code example. There were everything. But you now transforming your logic into code. So, and now I was learning. So I think it was around the logic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah. What about now?
So the technical challenge I'm facing now is around being able to do some load balancing properly, because I'm not using the cloud. When I say cloud, like AWS and GCP and others, I was using them before I moved. I think you might also ask why. Well, that's not the question now, right? So I want to be able to do all of this load balancing, like properly, still using the VPS.
Mm.
Yeah. So the most technical challenge right now for me is being able to do those VPM, those load balancing and everything out of those systems into a VPS. And I know how to do it. But this period now, this is like our time now because JAMB and all this exam is already on the way. So I don't want to, do a lot of all of those right now. I want the
So as not to break production.
well, it won't really break, really, because it would it won't really break. It will just work. It will just work because the system is there,
Okay.
right? And again, I want to do some migrations. And I don't want to miss data,
Mm.
right? Because except I have to shut down so that because you can imagine at the point where I want to migrate data now, because these things require some migration again, because I want to move away from my current host provider to a new one that can enable me do those load balancing, but still using the VPS. So if I'm doing the migration and say, for example, somebody deposited within that period and I did not capture that data in my migration, it's a problem. So for me to stop that and ensure that in my knowledge as at now, I need to stop processing data into that database because the database is still on my hosting, right? Like I said, I'm being lean to control money.
Yeah.
So the database is still on my hosting, though I do backups. But I need to make sure I have the current snapshot of the database.
Yeah.
And so I don't miss data. So and I don't want to do that now because I have to shut down to ensure nothing is coming into the snapshot or into the database. So by the time I reload, I have the same data without missing anything. Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. So you said it I was going to ask a question.
Yeah.
You already said it that I was going to ask it, but that was not a question. That
Yeah.
So why did you move away from the cloud? Was it not easier,
Okay.
or is it not cost effective?
Yeah. I should answer. So one is easier. Like it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have knowledge, it's easy. I have AWS background. So it's easy. I can just spin up ECS, spin up all of those things. But bro, last year, for several weeks, I had 11K active users every single day, at least 11K every single day.
Wow.
So you should be like, I should be happy because that is what I'm looking for. But bro, I was sad. You know why? You are seeing the traffic you're looking for, and you're sad. Why? Because of the bill. Of the bill. So AWS was charging me for data transfer. Not for server where I dey use, not for database that I'm using, not for just data communication, data transfer. And my data transfer was even way more than my infrastructural bill.
Wow.
But you know the funny thing? AWS charged me up to $400 for just a single month.
That would have wiped off all money that was made.
I had to go and find money for it. AWS charged me $400 for just a single month. And that examination was like 3-4 months or so. So for several months, I was paying crazy amount of money, and it was really affecting me. Like I was being emotionally affected. I'm telling you, because I felt like shutting down the server. So I was just like, okay, what can I do about this? Like, why not just move these things to a VPS and control of my resources myself?
Just be lean.
Do you know how much I'm paying now?
Let me guess.
Can you
100?
guess? 100? Can you do better? My infrastructural bill, everything, with all the traffic I have now, right, is no more than $30.
Wow.
And the site, the uptime is good. Everything is fine. So what are these cloud providers actually providing us that you're charging us that crazy? So imagine from 400, and I'm doing way more traffic now.
Wow.
And I'm paying $30 from 400.
Well, if you would ask me, for cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and the likes, it is all about scalability. You should be able to scale. So all these things that you're doing personally, it is something that is already built. into each and every one of these
Product.
providers, into each and every one of these
Okay.
providers. So you could just at the snap of a finger, you mentioned earlier that it's easier.
So
You could at the snap of a finger just spin up a load balancer, spin up multiple servers.
So-
but like you said, it is being
to
charged.
answer your question, you said it on one of the podcasts that scaling is not just about spinning all of these resources.
Yes,
Scaling is inside your data. Scaling is inside your application.
you're correct.
Right? So I'd fixed some of these things actually, because I mean, there was a time I started doing analysis into my queries, into my data and everything. Bro, I don't want to say it on the camera, but I was making there were some endpoints that was making more than 10,000 queries. Though I fixed all of those things then, but I was still consuming all of this. So the whole application I moved to the VPS is still the same, but I was spending less. Why? And then I wasn't even using load balancers and the like. So because the last time I tried load balancers and I wasn't even having a lot of traffic, I was paying more than $100 on logs. Log. I say I don't want log. I can't even turn off the log. I'm telling you, ECS. ECS. I was paying on logs, paying on all these unnecessary things for my small state. I don't need these things now.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
don't need them now.
yes, you don't
So
need-
why are you billing me for this? And I want to stop it. There's no way to stop it. You have to use it. So we make a lot of those mistakes. We are using things we don't really need. Why not wait till you need it? Work on your application first. And wait till you need those things.
Make sure it's scalable.
Right? But now I'm even trying to look into some deployment process that I can use VPS to do these things. And I can even do load balancing on those VPS. So I can even buy multiple. So now imagine on AWS, the server I'm using now, if I buy it on AWS, I would have been paying with my nose and my teeth. Combined, I think I'm using like a 16 gig RAM server. Right? And on AWS, when I was paying this $400, I was using like a 4 gig RAM instance.
Wow.
So, like, these people are just, I don't want to talk bad about them. They are awesome. I love it. It's good.
But they are
when you're
available
lean,
just for
when you're
years.
lean, I mean, for a small startup, you don't need some of these things. Sorry, I was just
No. It's
serious
correct.
pain. It's serious pain.
Correct. When you're spending way over budget,
Bro.
when you're spending way over budget for something that you've not started making money on, it's actually so. Like you said, it is until you need them that is when you can start using them.
You know why I was even getting so emotional about those things? Then I was even having issues at my workplace. So I'm like, I'm having issues at my workplace. I'm not getting enough of money, right? And these people are billing me this crazy. So, like, make it make sense.
Well, you just have to scale.
Bro,
At
yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
So,
And now I'm actually happy I made that decision because currently I don't think I would ever go back to those cloud services. The only thing I am doing with those cloud services are essential things they are providing me that I can't find elsewhere for lesser. Email services. SES is still the cheapest of all. Because all of these other services are using SES.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
SES. What else? I think I'm using 2 things on AWS right now, and those are the only things I'm doing. And you know what? My bill on AWS is no more than $4, $5. Who called you $5? Like, it's too much. $5 on average. And this $5 is inclusive in the $30 I'm telling you I spend monthly.
Wow. I think I need to check. I need to check this VPS out.
And there are some open source tools now that you can use, and you would forget about cloud, like cloud providers right now. All those ECS and all those things. I mean, if you are lean,
Yeah, I
I'm not talking about
get you.
enterprise grade systems.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For enterprise grade systems, cloud providers are still they're still the best. But if you want to go lean,
Bro.
if you are still a startup, it's not advisable you
Money to
spend. It's not, even if you have the money to spend, it is not advisable you spend it. The reason being that it all ties down back to scaling. You can try it out on a lean server, like
So
try
if
out
you
a
ask
lean
me- if you
process.
Ask me, what do you get on those cloud services? They give you your time and take your money. But on VPS, you spend that time and save the money. So is a way,
Yeah,
like
nah, I
a
get.
compromise to it. You get. So is either I don't have that time, take my money. Enterprise systems, you most likely want to go with that
Yes.
because you don't have that time.
Usually, if you need to
I'm
quickly
lean.
set up a client.
What am I using? Fine, I'm using the time for my personal business, right? But I mean, in terms of the business, what am I using that time? Like, I just want this to work. I don't have the money, but I can give you the time. Do you get? So it's a trade-off, time and money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we've actually moved into my next question. I wanted to ask what architectural decision did you make that made the biggest difference in scaling your product?
was
And
it.
I think the VPS part
That
is actually the
another one was doing an audit of all my endpoints.
Mm.
Apart from that, another one. Doing an audit of all of my endpoints, I realized a lot of leaks, a lot of unnecessary stuff, a lot of unoptimized stuff, a lot of things I did wrongly when I was learning. You know, because some of these endpoints were still hold, I was just pampering them. But when I did an audit on them, I'm like, guy, did you actually write this thing?
It happens.
Did you sense to do this?
It happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us.
That thing outside that was my front end. I realized that last year, the front end was I was using Nox 2. Then I think I made a crazy decision there, which was proxying my backend server from the front end. I should have just let the front end be a static. Just do it static thing. You don't need to be doing any server related things because it was unnecessary. But when I did that change last year, I realized that it was even way faster. It could accommodate even way more people. Like, I just felt like, so all these things that you talk about scaling, this is like, I'm seeing them in real time, like experimenting with and seeing it. If something is not going right, I just be like, let me try it this way. Let me try this. And I'm seeing it because I have the traffic to test it. You know, yeah, they might complain sometimes, but I mean, the complaint is not so much because some of these things, they don't even notice it. Yeah, they don't even notice it. So, yeah.
All right. So, we want to talk about lessons from building a real product that people actually use. So, what is that one thing that building this product taught you that you've never learned in tutorials?
Always talk to your customers.
Hmm.
You can't always talk to your customers. That's the only thing. Because some of the features that people are actually paying for right now, like the reason why people are using Quizboot now is because of feedbacks I got from some tutors that they needed in their business that I implemented that someone else is paying for. So it wasn't my knowledge, it wasn't my idea. So if I don't talk to them, I won't know what they need. So that way I won't be able to provide it for someone else. So always talk to your customers. That's the greatest I've learned. Always talk to your customers. It's not even on the technical side.
Wow. All right. So, what mistake cost you the most time during development?
Mistake. Time. Mistake. I'm trying to understand that question.
Like, what mistake have you done that actually cost you more time? For example, something that you're supposed to have done in like what you're supposed to have finished in like a day, 2 days. Maybe you made a mistake and it actually cost you a lot.
So one thing I would say costed me was when I was, not knowing the right tools to use for the job you want to do. And one of them was when I was having issues on AWS. Even with load balancing and everything, my server was still crashing. And what was the problem? Unoptimized queries. I think that's like the craziest of them all. Unoptimized queries. Until I started doing researches and I realized I could do profiling on some of these endpoints. So the mistake was when I was learning, I was just doing what I was seeing then. I wasn't thinking about scaling, thinking about optimization, all these things. Okay. So I think the mistake so far was I was mistakes from the past. I'm suffering it now. I was suffering it then. So something like that.
Okay, so the cracks were already there.
Yeah, so I was not suffering.
It's just traffic that made it more visible.
Even traffic, like you said in one of your last podcasts, that you shouldn't wait for traffic or something. 10 people is still a traffic.
Yes.
I can't remember how you mentioned it, but imagine then I wasn't having an active user of 100 people and my server was still crashing. Why?
Wow.
Bad infrastructural decisions, bad communication from the front end and the back end. Some of these things we need to, if something is a front end, let it remain a front end. I mean, why was I doing some unnecessary proxying and stuff? Like, it was killing the server, the front
When
end
we,
server.
when we
And
learn when we learn so many things, we just want to implement them.
I mean, I did it out of ignorance. Because when I looked at back again, why did I actually do that proxy I was doing then? I can't answer. Because I just wanted it to work.
Hmm.
I think I did it because of CORS. CORS.
Yeah, cause issues.
But the other ways to solve CORS. But that was the easiest solution I saw on the internet. And I did it.
Right.
Without
It's something then.
without
It
considering
works.
options.
It works.
It worked. It worked. But now I realize now in the past couple of years, I realize now that if you want to make any decision, find options and compare. Make sure there are options. Don't just say because you found this and just use it blindly. Take that, find other alternatives people use, then compare and see, does it really work for you? What do you really want to do? Then you make a decision. Right. So yeah, thank you.
Wow. Wow. These are nice takes. All right. So if you were starting the product again today,
Yeah.
what will you do differently?
I just found a new love. So what I'll be doing differently is using my new love.
I hope it's not React.
No, it's Rust. Bro. Bro. Have you done profiling on an endpoint from a different resource compared to Rust?
No.
The memory management is crazy.
I think I have Mr. Chooks also mentioned something similar. I think
Memory
he
management.
also loved Rust.
I spinned up one of my endpoints. I mean, because of all of this moving around and optimization, and because I don't want to pay more. Right? I'm trying to see how to make sure I take more traffic and pay less, or maintain what I pay. Or if I'm paying more, I'm able to get more traffic. So I'm like, okay, some of my endpoints, I want to start porting them to Rust. So I took one of the heaviest endpoint that I have and compared it to Rust. I built the same endpoints in Rust, communicating with the same database. So they are both communicating with the same database. And I spinned up load testing on that endpoint with Rust, spinned up on the other one. Rust was doing like 20-something hex. Django was doing like 400 or 500 requests, up to maybe 900 with caching. Rust, no caching. And so I was doing 20K. 20K request. You see what I just said?
Yeah.
And my system and the memory was like nothing was happening on the Rust. But on Django, the memory was on Rust. The memory seemed like nothing was happening.
Huh.
You need to try it. I'm telling you.
I'm definitely going to try.
That's my new love.
I am definitely going to try. I'm following. I think you are like the second.
I love Django. I love Python. Don't get me wrong. I love Django. Of course, I love Python because you can easily just start something and finish it.
First love.
You know, start something and finish it sharp. It's good. I love it. But Rust, you need to see it. Try it. Just try it. Compare one of your endpoints in one system that is doing heavy stuff, heavy data processing queries and stuff. Do the same with Rust and compare.
Wow. That's
from my own personal experience. My experience might be different from someone else's.
I get you.
But that was my experience.
I get you. I totally understand. But then, like you said, I really respect the fact that you compared the two together. So it actually made you see, okay, which is better in terms of memory management, which would work for me.
Yeah.
So that's a nice take.
That means if I can port my backend to Rust, I can handle 20x more what I'm doing now.
Oh, wow. I'll be faster. And
so I can imagine
faster application, happy users.
And I can imagine that if I'm paying $30 for more than 11K active users daily, right? And the 11K, my server is still like it's still doing well because there are cache and everything in place. Like my server doesn't even seem like anything is happening on $30. So if I have enough resource to spend like $1,000 every month, and imagine I move to Rust, I mean, I can even handle up to millions
Yeah.
on a
definitely.
very low budget. Yeah.
Wow. That's all right. So this is an insightful like take.
Yeah.
It's very, very insightful. I've heard of people who are actually moving to Rust, doing things in Rust, and I have to say, hearing it from you is another game changer, even for me. So, what advice would you give developers who are trying to build real products?
So, what type of advice are we talking about? Is it technical advice? Is it product advice?
Let's go technical first, then we'll go product wise, because I am definitely the next question I want to ask is what skills do you think engineers need to build production grade systems to the fact is, honestly, see, I love AI.
Yeah.
Honestly, but I mentioned in my last episode that AI is a tool, and it's a
Yeah.
tool that I use
Yeah.
even in work. Anytime you think you've optimized something, anytime you think you've built something that it is okay, that is better, and you just like ask AI to check it out and
Tell
see
AI to review it.
to review it, it's going to still see loopholes. Some of those loopholes are not valid.
Yeah.
You might look at it and be like, no, this is not a valid loophole. But
Yeah.
like 70 to 80% of the time, they're actually valid.
Yeah.
They actually like optimize your queries. I use it to optimize my queries, most especially in Django.
Yeah.
Because we use Django at work. So I use it to optimize my queries. Whenever I write any queries and I look at it and I'm like, no, I feel like this thing could be better.
True.
So we use AI. Before we use Stack Overflow, we ask questions like, what do you think?
I can't remember when I went to Stack Overflow last.
But now we have AI.
Yeah.
We can just tell it, okay, we have this loop, or we have this query that loops through something.
Mhm.
How do you think we can move this loop to the database level? Or how do you think we can actually optimize it way more better to make it faster? Especially if you're working with 1 million records.
Yeah.
If you're working with 100 million records.
Yeah.
The way it's going to work with one record is different from how it's going to work with 10 records. It's different from how it's going to work with 100 records. So you have to, it's part of the scaling mindset. You just have to make sure that it is ready to work with at least 1 million records, because 10 users can generate 500 million data.
Definitely.
So,
but if you ask me, right, if you're just learning, stay away from here.
Of course, definitely. I will not I would not advise you to move close to AI.
Because the only way you can use AI well is if you have the experience.
If you already know what you're doing.
Decision.
Exactly. If you already know what you're doing.
It's a tool. You have to be the one to make the decision.
Definitely.
So if you can't do that decision making and you're using the tool, it's useless. Because you can't.
That means you are just taking everything, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that it pours out, you just take it.
AI can give you a solution, and there's a better way, or there's a more efficient way.
Definitely.
Until you tell it, no, that is not how I want it done. Do it this way.
So many times, even for me. There are times when you have an idea of how you want it to be. You have an idea of what you want to do. You have an idea of how you want the query to be. Exactly. You've written the query, but you still feel like in your developer spirit, you still feel like it can be better. Like, no, this is not optimized well enough.
Let's use Django, for example. Say, for example, I'm trying to get a record of some people, like you said, millions of records. You're trying to query millions of records, and you have a couple of fields. And say, for example, you're just trying to fetch maybe names, ID, and age. And there are a lot of fields on that table, right? Django will do it in, or AI will do it in, select related and all those things. But that endpoint might still be slow.
Definitely.
Then you already know that I don't need all of these fields. Just give me the 3 fields I need inside the 1,000 fields in the table in the database. And you'll be surprised, just doing those 3 fields out of maybe 100 fields would give you way more speed.
Yeah, way more speed. One way that I actually use AI is actually in TDD, test-driven development.
That is another angle on it.
So I write the code, I write the test. That is passing.
Test used to be like a nightmare for almost all developers before. Honestly. But now, just tell you how to do the test.
No, I even do it on my own because I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm working with query. There's something I did recently that had to do with, it's more or less like big data.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a lot of data, but I just had to like process it, build out some metrics out of it. Just check it. Okay, what number of field or what number of characters are in a particular column on our database. It's something that we could just read in use Python to just check the number of character,
Yeah.
and then we are good to go. But then, what if we have like a million rows? So at that point, I knew, okay, this thing has to be well optimized. Number one, we have to I have to reduce the number of queries that is being made to the database. I have to reduce how it's been counted. I have to use regular expressions. And by the way, regular expressions is still a nightmare for me, honestly. I think you loved it then. You loved
Are you sure?
Was it you or Chuka who actually loved it? I think it's Mr. Chooks. Mr. Chooks loves.
Regular expression is great.
Honestly,
But
it's
I
great.
I rarely use it except I need to.
There are times when you just need to use it to it's not even about emails now. I think that was the most common usage of regular expressions then. But when you want to iterate through certain characters, you want to know the number of characters that are in it. You want to know if it's greater than a certain level or lesser than a certain level. So instead of iterating through every character, you can just use regular expressions to fetch them out. So what I do then is I write it out. I write the test. I make sure that it passes. I check the number of queries. I check the execution time. Then I ask AI to optimize the query for me. Once it optimizes it, I make sure that the test passes. That is one. Then number two, I make sure that the number of queries that is being made is lesser than what it actually made when I wrote the test, when I did it.
Yeah. True.
So like those are one of the major ways that I actually use AI to make sure that my code is better, to make sure that I actually practice what I teach.
Best, really.
Honestly, like it has triple X my development time. It has triple X my development time, and it's really works for me. It really works.
I just wonder sometimes if cloud and all of these AI providers say they are not doing business again.
Honestly, but the fact is, even with AI tools, we just have to be careful. We have to be careful. We have to, we have to be AI smart. We have to be AI conscious and not let it do our work for us.
Definitely, no, it will do our work for us. But
when I say do your work for you, it means like, for example, you have a task, you want to build a product, and you just like tell it to, we have a lot of vibe coding nowadays.
Not just.
We have a lot of vibe coding nowadays. So you have to make sure that it does not do the job for you.
I mean, now
it has to help you.
The AI is my PA because sometimes
it has to help you, exactly.
In the development space, I'm sure you have this experience a lot because you've dealt with a lot of developers. Hiring is crazy.
Yes.
So, for example, I need to do something. I need to hire somebody to get the job done. I start running after you, start doing this, start doing that. There was a project I wanted to do for someone, like a sister of mine. I wanted to do this. And so I remember last time I did something like this, I spent extra 3 days trying to solve the problem that these people did. Right? With AI, I did all of these things in 1 hour.
But the truth is, if you don't know what you are doing, it would turn into a nightmare for you.
True, right?
It would turn into a nightmare for you.
That's why I said, if you're a beginner, stay away from AI for now. You will still come back. You will still use it.
Yeah.
You must still learn how to use it because our world now, you need to know how to use AI. If you can't use AI as an engineer, forget about it.
But you have to use it responsibly. That was the English I was looking for. You have to be responsible.
Yeah.
You have to use AI responsibly.
Because whatever AI produce, you are still responsible.
Yes.
If it goes wrong, you are still responsible.
Exactly. So you are responsible for it. You have to be smart about it.
Exactly.
So it's one of those skills that you need it.
You need it.
You can't do it. You can't do without it because right now it has triple X development time a whole lot. You just have to be responsible. You just have to be responsible with the way you use it, especially as a developer.
Yeah.
Then for people who actually work with people's data, you have to be careful with how you use it. You have to make sure that it does not train itself on people's data.
True.
So that is one thing that I try my possible best to make sure that it does not happen. That when people's data
we need to be careful about that.
Yes, but especially where we have privacy policies, so you don't what do they call this? You don't feed it with people's data. You just have to be extremely careful. That the only data that it has access to has to be like test data. Data that does not hurt anybody.
Yes, exactly.
So you don't violate people's privacy.
Exactly.
You don't violate their data privacy. Their right to data privacy.
Right.
And most of us don't even read fine print whenever you are working on anything.
A lot of
us don't read fine print. But the fact is, when you read fine print, you'll see there that you just have to be careful.
Yeah, true.
with people's
I
data.
agree with you.
So that is
Very
one
much.
major thing that I try my possible best,
Very
even in the usage of AI. Whenever it's asking me that it needs maybe whatever query I want it to optimize, and it's asking me for maybe data to work with, I generate data by myself.
Yeah,
I
dummy
generate
data.
random data, fake
Dummy
data using Python Faker. I
Yeah.
generate those random data and I send it together with it. Then it uses it and
do those
to
stuff.
do whatever it is that it
Exactly,
wants to
because
do.
ideally you don't want to connect any production or anything to.
No.
So
Why should you even connect a database to
yeah, that's what
AI?
I'm saying. Like, you don't want to connect any production stuff to the AI because it messes things up.
It messes things.
I had an experience sometime with Adult where the person was trying to run some stuff and AI did the migration. He forgot he was connected to the production database.
Dang.
And AI did a Django migration. The migration is not on the server, it's locally, but the migration has been done. So when a query is trying to run in production, those queries are failing because it's saying not no. Data integrity and stuff.
Damn. And he was not aware that the migration.
Yeah, until the next morning, I was like, guy, what is going on? So I had to go and check the commit, check everything. Who did this thing? I saw it and I went to him, like, bro, take this thing off. Like, remove this migration, like right now. He could not remove it because the DevOps team did not give us permission to remove stuff from the table. So you can imagine, so we just had to commit that migration file to the production.
What is one thing about building real systems that most developers don't understand until they've actually shipped something to production?
Building real system, I don't understand. One of them, like for example, you've said this in your previous stuff, scaling. One thing they don't understand that most of us don't understand until we get to production. Really, even the product idea itself, you don't really understand it until you get to production. It's until users use it that you know what it is. Because you really cannot fathom the beginning and end of a product until people start using it. Because the way you think about the product might be different from how they use it. And if majority of the people that gives you value are using it in a particular manner, you find yourself start pivoting to take care of those people as well. So was that actually your initial idea? So some of these things are, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it actually does. You mentioned scaling, number one. Most of us don't understand scaling. It is until when people start using that's when we now start understanding that, oh, this query is not well optimized. We have a lot of,
like you said, scaling is not just is a lot of things. Like, it's
honestly,
diverse,
it is.
infrastructural level, application level, like network level, so many. Like, you've already handled all of this in your previous podcast, so I think so. Yeah, so go watch the previous podcast if you want to know more about scaling. You did a great job there.
Oh, nice one. All right, so we've come to the end of this session. Thank you, Mr. Peter, for joining us. I appreciate it. Inside the Stack appreciates you. And we hope to see more of you. All right, guys. So thank you guys for staying with us till the end of this session. I hope you guys picked one or two ideas. You guys picked one or two insights into how Quizboot was formed from idea to production. And until then, I still remain your host, Oluwale Majiriagbe, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye.